Yo guys, I know it's been a while, but welcome back to the channel. This is a video of kind of my final impressions of the game and what I thought about the game overall. So, just letting you guys know, there will be spoilers in this video. I try to put them more towards the end as story spoilers, but here we go. So, I just want to start off the bat. I will do some complaints about the game, but overall, this Senki no Kiseki 4 is easily the best game in the series as a whole. They've done a lot of rebalancing, so I'll go over kind of what I like. I do like the rebalancing of all the Brave Orders, the Master Quartz, pretty much all your attacking moves, and they really balanced out the Lost Arts in this game compared to Trails of Cold Steel 2, where I'm looking at you, Grail Burst was really broken. Most of the best Lost Arts are the ones that are support only and not damage, and it's always kind of been like that. Overall, they've completely rebalanced the system, so you can't do easily Brave Order one-turn finishes. They're still possible to do, but not as likely. Most of the problems in the battle combat system now come from pretty much AT delay and 100% evasion, and that's been present for most of the series, and they really can't fix that too much alongside with Insight unless they nerf some numbers. But if they do, I think if they actually do that, most of those strategies will become pretty much invalid, AT delay and invasion, if they did that. But overall, they've done a lot of good things. Did some lot of like quality of life things, like where the showers do always 200 CP, 100% HP, EP, and they recover all your BP. Same thing with all the restaurants. Now that instead of there's only 100 CP, they all just do 200 no matter what. It's like the small things in this game is what makes it so much better than any of the previous series. Like all your notes now shows you, hey, this is 100% complete. You got all the monsters in this area, or you've gotten all the recipes here, and they do a little check mark saying, hey, you don't have to worry about this anymore. All the small things like that add up so well in this game. But as much as they've done so well, they've also done, there's some errors in the game, and most of the things that I stated wrong with the game, like the graphics and all that, from Senno Kiseki 3, it's still very prevalent in here, and it's something I'm not gonna really touch upon too much. Some of the downsides I see to this game are the character list. At at the basically the last fight in the game, you have somewhere around 40 characters playable, which is kind of insane. A lot of the second and third act of this game, you get almost too many characters to use, and pretty much most of them are utilities of each other, or just kind of copy pastes of each other, but with different variances, which are really good. Something like Lloyd and Yuno are pretty much the same character, but Lloyd is just better because his BP, his charge move allows him to get plus speed, while Yuno's doesn't. Ellie is like a better Altina. Her heal special is different. She's like a combination of both Muse and Altina together. You can see small little differences like in there. Then there would be flat out overpowered characters like Roselia, who can pretty much heal all your CP and HP as long as she's in range of her move. It's a lot to take in, and a lot of the point you won't be using half the list of characters. I found myself only pretty much using, of course, your mandatory Reen, Yuna, Alicia, Altina, Laura, and Sarah just because they're overall good. I would use, if I have another slot, I'd put Emma in just because of her utility as well. For the most part, most of the characters in this game you probably won't see, and pretty much this game takes over. Like I've said before, it covers a lot of like what CS3 was. It was kind of a homage to CS1. CS4 is a very much a homage to CS2 with all the lost arts, the S crafts coming back. And this is another kind of small complaint, but it is a small complaint. S crafts, only the new class 7 and Reen get a new S craft. Everyone just gets a level 2 of their original S craft from CS3, which is kind of annoying, but I mean, I guess they didn't want to spend the money to make new animations for any of that or make a new kind of S craft. So that is a little bit of a bummer, but it really doesn't add too much. I mean, the S crafts level 2 just do 2 times the damage as the original, which the other characters got anyways too. So that's kind of a little bit of a bummer to me. Pretty much the story structure is the exact same, but this time around we actually get 3 chapters instead of the 2 in CS2. But they're once again very long. This game roughly took me around 80 hours of me doing everything on the first playthrough, and I was really taking my time with it. I wanted to make sure I read everything, I did everything as much as I could. I beat every single thing possibly, and pretty much that's another one of my small minor complaints is the difficulty. There are times where it becomes difficult and the spike of difficulty is kind of ridiculous. And if you don't know how to cope with some of that, I feel like most of the time, most players will get stuck, but pretty much I knew how to get around most of it, so it wasn't too bad. There was 2 very big instances of it. Well, technically there's a lot, especially with some of the special boss fights and character restrictions you're allowed to use for them. But to me, there's only 2 times I actually kind of got pissed off because I got kind of stuck. And one of them was against the Thor's Academy 1 fight where he has Mikhail and his entourage of students that literally just bombarded you every single turn. You wouldn't be able to move because there's so many characters, just causing AT delay, and they would just keep going and going, and to the point where it was like, hey, I don't even get a move. I haven't even moved one of my characters yet. I'm gonna pop S craft break with everyone in there. Boom, everyone's gone. I'm like, okay, now I can actually start dealing with some of these people because there's not so many characters on screen to cause the AT delay. And the other one was the fight. Okay, this is a spoiler against McBurn and Victor S. Arseed. Because that one was pretty much, it was really annoying because both characters had enhanced speed, and McBurn can cause burn, eternal burn, and insta KO, while Victor can cause stun. So if you don't have any Grail lockets by then, or any ways to neutralize any of those status alignments, which you should, it does get pretty annoying. And Eternal Burn from McBurn, of course, is a pain in the ass. It takes like 20% of your health every single time you end your turn. And they both get access to S-Crafts, and Victor can heal himself as well too. So that fight was a little bit insane. But once you play the New Game Plus, it's really not that bad, even on Nightmare, because you do have the resources to defeat them without worrying too much. And for the most part, Brave Orders are still very powerful, but it takes time for them to be abusable, and not abusable like before where you just click Sledgehammer, break the person, then insta turn yourself to a 1 turn, pretty much a 1 phase win. But yeah, overall this game really hit the nail. It it was honestly, to be very fair, this is my game of the year right now. There has been nothing that could outpace this game so well. I really do want to apologize to you guys for waiting so long to get this out. I've been kind of busy about this, but now we're gonna get kind of more into the spoiler part about this. So here we go. So if you guys don't know or haven't seen the ending, the game ends with Prince Oliver's wedding to Shara, which is a very nice touch, and I felt everything right ended kind of on a high note. Other than the fact that whoever you had your Bond Day event character with pretty much doesn't get anything much more than one scene, and that's like a picture with Marine at the end, and it feels kind of shallow. And I should sit, and it's that way because the trophies in this game are kind of different than they have been in the previous game. It's all the girls get their own individual trophies for their bond event, their final bond event, but the guys are lumped all into one trophy, so you only have to do one of them. And it's kind of weird like that because they're hinting at you should be with a girl at the very end, and that scene with them is kind of supposed to be the romantic scene. You get the kiss scene with them at the end of that bond event, and it just feels that like that was another letdown moment. It was like there's nothing more to that. There's nothing more to the scene, because I'm assuming they're trying to build up Reen and his relationship with, of course, the main heroine, whoever they choose to be, for the next Legend of Game, which we don't know will be or when. Because this game does leave some cliffhangers for an eventual, sequel or whatever they're gonna do in the series. Because at the end, when you finish the final scenes, Prince Cedric joins Ouroboros because they've lost. Rufus, Collector, and Claire all get arrested because they'd lost. They don't have any more. Then, and of course, Gareth Osborne, if you haven't seen it coming, was Emperor Dracos this whole time. And pretty much, you kind of got the hints of that. The first hints were in the first game, where Valimar told Reen he basically resembles Emperor Dracos. That's the first instance. Second instance is how Gilth Osborne was able to live in the CS2 but being shot in the heart. So it was all kind of, the hints were there, and they didn't really hint at it as hard as they did until CS4, when there was multiple scenes, even with Leanne Sandalot, showing that Osborne was Emperor Dracos, heavily hinted that he was Dracos. So at the end of the game, of course, Emperor Dracos is dead. Fuck Rufus, I hate him. He if you didn't know, he is the Gold Knight. He is the pilot of the Gold Knight. Go fuck him. That's all I want to say. I hate you. You killed Sandalot in this game. When we could have got Sandalot on our team, I was so mad about that. But of course, she dies in this game. So Ouroboros is out without Anguish 7 now, pretty much. You get all the cool allies. You get Blue Blanc. You get everybody. Look at all of these cool enforcers. You get to see McBurn in his true curse state, his true demon state, which is so dope. But they end the fight, his fight, really with like sloppily, because it's just like, oh, I'm bored. I don't want to fight you guys anymore. And he just like, here, go on ahead, go fight Osborne. I'm like, oh, is that how it ended? Okay. And you get a lot of resolutions in this game, with Reen losing his ability, his cursed powers at the end. It all comes together in this nice scene with Oliver's wedding. And overall, I think it was just well done. This game overall was easily the best game this year. And story-wise, gameplay-wise, environment-wise, music, they hit everything out of the park. I can't give enough praise to Falcom right now. And I'm very, very, very much waiting for the next games. I'm still trying to finish Trails in the Sky, guys. I stepped out to play Zero and Owl first, because I personally like that story more than Sky right now. I finished Zero and Owl, one of the best games, and it is... This game, really, you do need to play all Trails games so far. You need to play Sky and Zero to get that story, because a lot of times you will not understand what is happening if you don't get those games. Well, there is my final impressions of this game, guys. I will be trying and working for a platinum as soon as possible. I'm still working on my Valk 4 platinum. I'm waiting for all the DLC to come out first before platinuming it, so stay tuned.